Before you head to Costco next, pause for a moment. A new survey shows over 1 in 5 Americans are flocking to warehouse stores like Costco for daily essentials. That means prices are quietly climbing. Tariffs, disrupted shipping, soaring demand. Even Costco can't keep prices low forever. 10 items are about to spike. Number 1 is already up 15%. Watch now before it's too late. 10. Eggs. Eggs used to symbolize affordability and nutrition. Whether you're a busy person boiling a few for breakfast or a home cook using them for cakes, casseroles, or fries, Costco was your go-to. Large trays, fair prices, steady quality, that was the routine. But as of May 2025, that routine is shaking. Have you noticed? One week, eggs are cheap. The next, they jump $1. Then they're out of stock. Some stores are limiting how many trays you can buy. This shortage isn't temporary. It's a sign of a massive price surge. And the reasons? They're complex. Avian flu has wiped out millions of chickens across multiple states, slashing egg supply. Fewer hens mean lower output and higher costs, and consumers bear the brunt. Organic and cage-free eggs are even scarcer due to longer rearing cycles and stricter standards. Costco, known for holding prices longer than most, can't fight supply and demand forever. Egg trays are creeping up in price bit by bit, until you realize eggs aren't cheap anymore. The sad truth? Wait a few weeks, and you might find no eggs to buy, or prices beyond reasonable. The fix? Grab 1 or 2 trays when prices are still decent. Eggs last weeks in the fridge and are versatile. Boil them, bake with them, or prep weekly meals. 9. Coffee. For many Americans, coffee isn't just a drink. It's survival fuel. A morning cup to wake up, a mid-meeting sip to stay alert, a gulp in traffic to keep calm. Coffee wasn't a luxury until now. You may not have noticed, but the global coffee supply chain is in chaos. Brazil, the world's top coffee producer, is facing its worst drought in decades with yields plummeting. Vietnam, the second largest exporter, is battling record heat, soaring fertilizer costs, and labor shortages. It gets worse. The U.S. government just slapped a 10% tariff on imported coffee, hiking costs from the shipping stage. The result? Even bulk retailers like Costco struggle to keep prices steady. Some Kirkland brand coffees are quietly rising. No signs, no alerts, just pricier than last week. The worry? This isn't a blip. Experts warn if supply keeps dropping while demand holds, coffee prices could climb all summer. If you have a favorite, dark roast for mornings, light for cold brew, or whole beans for home grinding, act now. Buy an extra bag or 2 and store them in a cool, airtight spot. Coffee, stored right, keeps its flavor for ages without needing the fridge. 8. Avocados. There's a game every avocado lover plays. Is it ripe yet? Too hard today, spoiled tomorrow. But right now, that game isn't just about ripeness. It's about price and the risk of nothing left to buy. Did you know over 90% of U.S. avocados come from Mexico? That supply chain is hitting multiple roadblocks: stricter border checks, stalled export permits, and clogged shipping routes. Add political tensions and unrest in key avocado-growing regions, and supply is shrinking fast. The outcome? Brutal but simple. Avocados at Costco could double in price after one shipment or vanish from the coolers entirely. Especially in summer, when demand spikes for guacamole, smoothies, salads, or keto breakfasts. Avocados aren't the healthy staple they once were. A 4-pack you grabbed last week for under $6 could hit $10 or more next month. Scarier still, sometimes price tags are replaced with a sign: out of stock, check back later. You can stay ahead of this price wave. The trick is simple: buy now, prep, and freeze. Slice ripe avocados into chunks, store them in airtight containers or Ziploc bags, and you've got quality ingredients for smoothies, toast, or salads anytime. Frozen avocados hold texture for soft dishes. No worries about quick spoilage. With prices climbing daily, this is a small but smart move. Avocados remain a great source of healthy fats and are heart-friendly, keeping you full and supporting a balanced lifestyle. But only if you buy at the right time, before they turn into a luxury in your cart. 7. Olive oil. If you cook at home often, olive oil probably doesn't cross your mind much. A splash for stir fries, a drizzle for salads, a few drops on toasted bread seems simple. But this everyday ingredient is becoming one of Costco's most volatile items. The trouble starts far away in southern Europe. Spain and Italy, the world's top olive oil producers, just faced their worst drought in decades. Scorching heat and parched soil mean olive trees aren't fruiting. Some regions lost over 50% of their yield in one season. That means raw costs are soaring at the source. At the same time, the U.S. raised tariffs on European food imports. Global shipping remains shaky, with logistics costs rising weekly. Put it all together, and even Costco is struggling to hold prices. You might still see that familiar Kirkland signature bottle on the shelf. But look closer. Prices are creeping up. No price hike sign or red tag is needed. Many shoppers don't notice until they check their receipt and realize they paid a few bucks more for the same bottle as last week. Olive oil isn't just for cooking. It's a cornerstone of countless healthy dishes. From sautéing veggies, grilling meat, and tossing salads to making sauces, if you eat clean, follow Mediterranean or keto diets, or just want to ditch industrial oils, olive oil is non-negotiable. 6. Seafood. If you're aiming for clean, high-protein, low-fat meals, seafood is likely a staple. Grilled shrimp, pan-seared salmon, seafood chowder, or quick meals from seasoned frozen fish. Costco used to be the place for these at reasonable prices. But in the coming weeks, those options might turn luxurious. The global seafood supply chain is facing a silent storm. Most of Costco's frozen seafood, shrimp, salmon, cod, and tilapia, comes from Chile, Vietnam, and Southeast Asia. These regions are battling skyrocketing fuel costs, labor shortages in fishing and processing, clogged international shipping, and, most recently, new tariffs on imported seafood. A Costco employee shared that recent seafood shipments are arriving late, smaller, and with reduced product sizes. What does that mean? The shrimp packs you bought for $9.99 could jump to $14 or $15 in an upcoming price adjustment. Whole salmon, a go-to for many families, might vanish for weeks or come in smaller cuts at the same price. Here's what trips people up. The change won't creep in slowly. It often hits quietly. You stroll into Costco one day, planning to grab salmon like always, only to find the price has spiked. Or worse, the shelf is bare with a sign. Out of stock. Sorry for the inconvenience. The solution isn't hoarding. It's strategic buying. If you eat seafood weekly, consider grabbing an extra pack of fish or a tray of shrimp and freezing it properly. Frozen seafood, stored in vacuum-sealed bags or airtight containers, can stay high quality for months. 5. Honey. No flashy ads, no vibrant packaging, yet honey quietly holds a special place in millions of American kitchens. A spoonful in tea, a drizzle on morning oatmeal, or a natural ingredient in baking, consumers trust honey for its purity and versatility. Sadly, that trust is being tested by something unexpected. Honey prices at Costco are set to surge, and they may not come down. The issue isn't Costco itself, but Brazil, a key honey supplier for the retailer. This South American nation is grappling with severe challenges: harsh weather, prolonged droughts, wildfires, and, most critically, an alarming decline in bee populations. When natural pollinators are threatened, honey production tanks and prices inevitably soar. On top of that, the U.S. imposed new tariffs on South American honey, hiking costs from the shipping stage. Even Costco, known for holding prices better than most chains, is starting to adjust honey prices, quietly but steadily. You might not notice today, but in a few weeks that familiar jar could cost $2 or $3 more, or worse, disappear from shelves due to supply disruptions. If you use honey regularly, not just for eating, but for remedies like soothing coughs, easing allergies, making natural masks, or baking, now's the time to prep. Grab an extra 1 to 2 jars of pure or organic honey if you can. Store them in a cool, dry, sealed spot. Unlike many foods, honey doesn't spoil over time if stored right. Here's the thing. Honey isn't something you suddenly need. It's something you always want on hand. When prices climb or supplies dry up, you'll wish you'd snagged that extra jar. Simple, pure, and lasting. 4. Chocolate. From warm brownies to a late-night dark chocolate bar to a few milk chocolate pieces stashed in your desk, chocolate isn't just dessert. It's a small reward after a long day, a moment that makes adults feel like kids again. But here's what few notice. That chocolate treat might be a bargain today, but could turn luxurious in weeks. Sound dramatic? It's not. The global cocoa market is in unprecedented turmoil. Over 70% of the world's cocoa comes from West Africa, mainly Ivory Coast and Ghana. In the last 2 years, these regions have faced failing harvests, prolonged droughts, widespread crop diseases, and outdated farming systems with little investment. Production has plummeted, while global demand hasn't budged. Things get dicier with new tariffs on chocolate imports from Canada and Europe, pushing prices up for everything from budget bars to premium products. At Costco, shoppers are starting to notice. Familiar signature chocolate packs are creeping up in price bit by bit, especially dark, low-sugar, high-cocoa varieties. Why do those spike hardest? They rely almost entirely on pure cocoa content, with no room for fillers or substitutes. When cocoa supply falters, these products take the first hit. If you're a chocolate regular, for baking, snacking, stress relief, or just love the taste, now's the best time to grab a few favorite bars or bags, especially pure dark chocolate. Stored right, chocolate stays good for months, sometimes a year. You don't need to stockpile. Just plan smart. Choose well-sealed packs and keep them in a cool, dry spot. And you'll dodge the price shock on your next Costco trip. Because when chocolate gets pricey, it's not just your wallet that feels it. Those little daily moments of sweetness start slipping away too. Hold on to that joy while you can. 3. Tomatoes and tomato products. You might not think much about tomatoes. They're not as trendy as avocados, not as pricey as meat, and not as convenient as instant noodles. But pause and consider. How many meals rely on tomatoes or tomato products? Pasta with marinara, pizza, soups, stews, dipping sauces, tacos, chili. The list is surprisingly long. Tomatoes are the quiet backbone of your kitchen. And because they're so familiar, few notice that their prices, especially for canned, crushed, sauced, or dried tomatoes, are starting to climb at Costco. The trouble comes from south of the border. Over 50% of U.S. tomatoes, particularly processed ones, are imported from Mexico. Right now, that supply is hitting every obstacle: new tariffs, tighter border inspections, export delays, and labor shortages on both sides of the border. A bigger worry: farmers and shippers in Mexico warn prices won't rise gradually. They'll spike in waves, shipment by shipment. In just weeks, a pack of 8 cans of crushed tomatoes could jump $2–3 without any clear announcement. Unlike fresh produce, canned or crushed tomatoes last long, 12 to 18 months if stored right. So, if they're a staple in your cooking, consider grabbing a few extra packs now, especially varieties like Italian sauce, fine crushed, diced, or tomato paste. This isn't just about saving money, it's smart meal planning. With food markets growing unstable, stocking up on foundational ingredients like tomatoes helps you control your budget and your meals. 2. Nuts. From a bag of almonds for an afternoon snack to a jar of cashews in your pantry or a pack of pistachios for munching while working, nuts are seen as a smart, healthy, convenient, long-lasting snack. For many, they're essential for clean eating, low-carb, or keto diets. If you've ever thought buying nuts at Costco is such a steal, here's the bad news. That deal is fading fast. It sounds hard to believe, but it's happening with every shipment. Why? Import costs from key suppliers like Vietnam and China are soaring. Cashews, almonds, and macadamias, mostly from Asia, are facing new tariffs, sky-high shipping fees, labor shortages, and global logistics disruptions. At Costco, those big, impressive nut bags still seem stable. But look closer. Many have jumped from $13.99 to nearly $17 in months, and the trend isn't stopping. Since most shoppers buy in bulk, even a few dollars more per bag can balloon monthly spending. And the scary part? Once prices rise, they rarely drop back. If you use nuts for healthy snacking, cooking, making nut milk, or baking, now's the ideal time to grab 1 to 2 extra bags. Stored right, in the freezer or airtight containers away from light and heat, nuts stay crunchy and nutritious for months. Fun fact: Many consumer finance experts call buying nuts before price hikes a top lifestyle investment hack. You avoid waste and don't have to sacrifice health just because healthy food gets too pricey. The market's shifting quietly. Those who act early avoid regret. Don't wait until your last bag runs out and the price is beyond reason. Act now to keep eating clean and living healthy without your wallet taking a hit. Un croissant? You don't need to be a French food fanatic to love croissants. In America, this flaky, layered, crisp on the outside, melt-in-the-mouth pastry is a breakfast staple. At Costco, a tray of 12 croissants has long been a go-to. Convenient, tasty, and, until recently, pretty cheap. But the era of affordable croissants is slipping away. And not many notice until it's too late. Have you seen it? That 12-pack of croissants once $5.99 is now $6.99. A dollar seems minor, but the reasons behind it show this is just the start. First, butter and flour prices are surging globally. For croissants, butter is a huge part of the recipe. It's what creates that flaky, glossy crust and rich aroma. Second, Europe, a major source of butter and wheat, is facing crop failures due to climate change. This makes ingredients scarce, with prices shifting weekly. Third, and invisible when you grab that tray, are rising labor costs in baking and packaging. Croissants aren't easy to mass produce. Consistent quality needs skill and careful processes, which drives up costs. At Costco, a retailer famed for holding prices well, a croissant price hike is a clear signal. More baked goods will follow. Next time you visit, that tray might not be $6.99. It could be $7.49 or higher. The advice? If you love croissants for breakfast, sandwiches, weekend brunches, or homemade paninis, buy now and freeze. Croissants hold up great when frozen properly. Just reheat in the oven for fresh baked goodness. Why does this matter? Croissants aren't just pastries. They're convenience, a relaxing moment, a no-brainer breakfast. But if prices keep climbing a few bucks each trip, that ease fades. Smart moves don't mean ditching what you love but preparing before it's out of reach. And for Costco's croissants, that moment's coming fast. Prices are rising daily without warning. Costco staples you thought were cheap are quietly getting pricier. By the time you hesitate at the shelf, it's too late. This isn't to stress you out but to empower you. Buying early is buying smart, not wasteful, just one step ahead. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment. What item have you seen creep up quietly? Your tips could help others save big.